It's not long now until Tszyu, Brian Mendoza. Thoughts on this fight?
It's coming around very quick. It's good to have the boys back from camp in America, and everything's coming along beautifully. So we're excited. Brian arrived today, which is always good news. So it's all systems go.
I guess Tim went overseas to Vegas. I guess what was the idea behind that camp?
It's always the same, mate. It's finding the right sparring partner that can emulate Mendoza, getting the right guys to give Tim the work. We did plan to stay a bit longer, but it was we made a business decision to miss the Charlo Canelo fight and come home a bit early. A lot of bugs around and stuff, so I didn't want to take the risk, and it's paid off. Tim's in great shape, and we're ready to get up onto the Gold Coast on the weekend.
And Tim's been elevated to full world champion. I guess, how proud are you of Tim?
Yeah, super proud. It's been a great journey right from day one, and the team's done a great job, and Igor's done a great job, and we've worked the roadmap pretty much to what we started. It's been interesting that we didn't have to make a lot of changes, which is wonderful. But yeah, the kid's a true world champion, and I think there must be some sort of a record here, because it's only 14 days from becoming the world champion to defending it. So it's something special for sure.
Does it add any sort of extra pressure to Tim?
No, I don't think so. He handles pressure very well. He elevates always to the occasion and the challenge, and we don't expect that to be any different. Brian will bring an awkward fight, and Igor's prepared Tim beautifully for that. So it'll be entertaining for sure, but we're very confident that Tim will take care of him.
Did you watch the fight on the weekend?
I did, yeah, like the other million pay-per-view audience that was disappointed in paying for sparring. Yeah, I did.
What did you think of it?
Oh, look, disappointed. I thought when you get the opportunity to fight on the biggest stage against the biggest name in boxing, I expected more, and especially considering what the implications were for us, and missing out on our opportunity to watch that transpire was very disappointing for Tim and for all of us, because we'd all put the work in. But it's also opened up a great opportunity now that for Jamel to consider himself in that category for mega fights. He's now got to come back and take on Tszyu to become undisputed again. And if that goes our way and we get the Jamel fight and Tim wins that, then we become undisputed, and that opens the door for us for Terence Crawford. So it's interesting. There's so many options and so many things floating, but we focus on what's ahead and continue to stay busy.
Is it hard not to look too far ahead?
Oh, it's my job to look well in advance, and I do that, and I do that in the knowledge that you can only focus from the fight perspective on what's in front. But management and promoters have to think 2 and 3 ahead, and there are many options, but it all depends now upon not on outcomes of fights, outcomes of what is going to happen to those that have lost or those that have won. Do they stay? Do they come back down divisions? Who knows? We'll see it unfold over the next month, I would think.
Now, granted Tim beats Mendoza, would it be your preference to sort of defend the belt a couple of times, or do you want those mega fights straight away?
No, in all honesty, the time's right. When Tim takes care of Mendoza, we would love the opportunity for Charlo next off the rank, take care of Charlo, become undisputed, and then go straight into Crawford, undisputed v undisputed. It's not really, it doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of interim type fights or warm-up fights or any of that. When Tim goes to the US and they see what he delivers, I'm pretty sure the doors will open.
And your other fighter, Nikita Tszyu, expected to be back in the ring soon. Thoughts on his career so far?
Terrific so far, coming along beautifully. We're stepping him up at a good rate. He'll be back in November with another great challenge, but Nikita's reached that point now where we're starting to see the fruits of the hard work that Igor's put in. Remember, 7 years out, he's only been back in for a couple of years, so and currently undefeated. So provided he keeps doing what he's got to do, the future's very bright for him too.
Is it your job to sort of put the stops on not pushing Nikita too far ahead too early, or how do you sort of navigate that pressure that could land on Nikita?
Yeah, it's a balancing act. You've got the fighter's welfare and you've got the promoter's welfare, and the manager sits in the middle and balances it off. But generally speaking, between myself and Matty Rose, we will discuss the potential fights. I'll take them to Igor and say, where are we at right now? And are you comfortable if we were to select this one? And ultimately the coach makes the decision on who fights, but he's guided by what we present. So absolutely, if the promoters come to me and say we want to put Nikita in with Canelo Alvarez right now, I would put the brakes on it and say no, that's not going to happen. But they're smart guys, and it's very much a very close team with our promoters. So we pick through the list and choose who we think is the best stepping stone for Nikita. And you do have to take a couple of risks because you've got to keep stepping him up. And in a small country like Australia, for boxing numbers, you're not necessarily going one little step at a time. You might have to jump 3 steps and then you might get one. But we're very happy with his progress.
And how proud are you, I guess, of how he's handled that pressure of being on telly and headlining main event shows?
Different to Tim, yeah. Timmy didn't get that until he was about 12 fights in, and Nikita came straight in on Tim's platform. And that in itself was a big ask for a young fella that had been out for so long, but he's handled it beautifully. It's taken a bit of work with him on the mentoring side, just purely on the mental side, to say, look, there's another side to boxing, what you do in the ring, and then there's the business of boxing, and you need to understand that. He's a very intelligent guy, very smart young guy, and makes very good decisions. But most of all, he's dedicated to the sport. And when you've got all that in one place and a good team of people around, you can't really go wrong.
And Liam Wilson, when can we expect to see him back in the ring?
Popped him on a flight today to Thailand to kick off his strength and conditioning. He'll do 2 weeks over there. Liam's in a great place. You'll see Liam back in the ring in December, and most likely Vegas Larfield back in the ring in December as well. So busy end of the year, but yeah, Liam's on a fast track route with us, coming off Navarrete and such a great fight and disappointment that I think we can get Liam back into world title contention early next year. And Vegas just coming off a loss that was disappointing, but it happens. Vegas will come charging back, and we'll keep him busy, and the future looks bright for all of them. They're all in great place mentally, physically, and they're happy. They're staying busy, so that's the key.
How excited are you to be involved in this Australian boxing scene at the moment? Because it's on fire.
It's red hot, isn't it? I mean, I think the young fellow over there, Tim, is the driver of that. When we got started, there was a hum around the place that, is he as good as his dad? Will he ever be as good as his dad? And we quietly went about doing the business and not saying a lot about that. And over time, that hum has disappeared. It's very rarely asked nowadays. Tim's set himself to be the face of Australian boxing, and he's that kind of guy that has earned his stripes and the respect. Nikita's following, Liam and Vegas, they all do the same thing. They're all dedicated to that cause. But you've got so many, Jai Opataya, who just is a different Jai Opataya. There's an edge about Jai now that I said to Mick Francis, I do believe he's going to be a champ for a long time. He's got that edge. You've got Justice Huni coming back into the mix in the heavies. You've got a ton of guys that are really performing well, just waiting for their opportunity. And all that spins off the back of the populism of boxing, and Tszyu brought that back. So it's a great time to be in Australian boxing, mate, and I'm just happy and humbled to be part of it.
So what's left for Tszyu before fight week?
This week will just be what you see today. Igor will keep the conditioning going. Obviously, he's coming down on the weight now. We'll travel up on the weekend and get settled there. He'll continue training throughout the week just to keep the conditioning and the stretching and everything going. And then we're into the last few days, presser, weigh in and fight. But he's ready, mate. Tim is focused, and he's been a great camp, and we've only got, 10 days to go, something like that. So, yeah, we're really excited because it's coming down to the business end of it.
Thanks so much, man.
Always my pleasure.